Well, would you look at that? I'm on time. Team review, episode 1. In this video, we're going to be covering the top 5 teams in alphabetical order. So we'll include Arsenal, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Brighton, and the FPL darlings, Burnley. So before we get into this video, the video may be a bit too long, so I'll put the sequence right here so you can skip the video and watch a particular team you want to watch. Go ahead and do that. And yeah, before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell so that you don't miss any of these videos. I have 3 more coming up during the international break, so to cover the remaining 50 teams, so stay around for that. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video, shall we? First up, Arsenal. So how did they fare in the first 4 games? So first up, they start off with a scrubby 1-0 win against Newcastle, then a 2-1 win against Burnley, followed by a 3-1 away loss at Liverpool, and then a comeback in a 2-2 draw versus Spurs. They could have won a 3-2 if it were not for Kolasinac's arm of being offside or something like that around the back end when they were in 2-2. So they did pretty well. I think they're third in the league, like in the league table. I have to recheck about that, third or fourth, somewhere around there. And their next 4 fixtures up to the second international breaks look something like Watford away, Villa at home, United away, Bournemouth at home. So what does that scream? Arsenal attack. Watford, they absolutely crap this season, and so they are bound to concede. Villa, the defense, I don't actually still rate their defense. I mean, it has tightened up in the last few games, but still, there's still chance of Arsenal scoring a few. Man United away from home, that game always has goals, so it's gonna be a goal. That game always has goals, so I can expect goals from that game. And Bournemouth away, Bournemouth at home. Last season, that exact same game, they thrashed 5. You never know with this game. But here's the problem though. How do we fit them in? Because like if you look at my team, if you want to see my team, go back and watch my Game Week 4 video. I have certain price points: Salah, Sterling, and De Bruyne. And then the rest are all budget options, all piled around. So the budget is tight. So how do I bring one of them in? The only guy that I can bring in is Dani Ceballos. And he's priced at 5.6. Then that's the only guy that I can bring in without taking a hit or taking one of my premiums out, aka my Ginger Prince Kevin De Bruyne, which is never going to happen. Okay, I'm not going to be self-centered. I'm going to go back into the way. So Pepe 9.4, Ceballos 5.6, Laka 9.4. So all 3 of them are in awkward price ranges. So it's actually quite hard to bring them in. I mean, Ceballos, it's a bit easy because he's priced cheap, but it's actually awkward prices because most of our teams will include a 12 million guy, and then maybe those 12.5, they may include 2 of them. Then you have like something like an 8 million, then you will go 7.5, something like that kind of a price tier. Kevin De Bruyne is an exception. So do you give out Kevin De Bruyne for Pepe? Personally, no, because I love Kevin. So yeah, that's not gonna happen. But all of them are priced awkwardly, so that's one. I don't actually like that fact. But if you don't have like something like a De Bruyne or a second premium, one of the Arsenal attacks for the next 4 is a no-brainer. I mean, their fixtures, as I said before, looks absolutely extraordinary. So if you have like a slot free, I would advise you to get one attacker in. Aubameyang, of course, however, not mention him. 11 million. Again, he misses big chances and he scores big chances. He gets so many chances. And he's missed like the most big chances last season. Again, he's missed like 3 big chances already this season, something like that. So yeah, Aubameyang, if I were to go like with no budget, Aubameyang would be number 1 because he is probably the most nailed of the 4. And here's one thing though. Rob Holding 4.5. This is not for this one, but long term. Rob Holding 4.5. If I look at Arsenal fans, they are actually crying for Rob Holding to come back. So basically, yeah, Rob Holding a 4.5. If he comes back and Arsenal learn how to defend, keep an eye out for that one. Now that's done for Arsenal. Now moving on to Aston Villa. So how did Aston Villa fare in the early season? So they started off with a 3-1 defeat at Spurs. Yeah, they scored the first goal, then they conceded 3. They scored 2 towards the back and 1 in the middle. And then they went on to lose 2-1 to Bournemouth. A game where they actually dominated, but they actually lost. Then a 2-0 win against Everton, where Everton were completely shite. And then a 1-0 win against Palace. So yeah, it was a mixed bag for Aston Villa. Again, 1 clean sheet in 4. Attack, they scored a few goals. I mean, they scored in all but 1 game, so that was quite good. But the next fixtures look: West Ham at home, Arsenal away, Burnley at home, and Norwich away. So basically, it's a meh schedule because like West Ham, yes, a leaky defense. Arsenal, leaky defense, but not too leaky. Burnley, they are the definition of watertight. Not exactly definition, I'm exaggerating here, but you get the point. And then you have Norwich, who attack and who would concede. So I would say it's a meh schedule because Arsenal, it's gonna be a tough fixture. Burnley, it's gonna be a tough fixture. Burnley at home, and then you have Norwich away from home. In Norwich, then there's gonna be a tight game. West Ham, it's gonna be another tight game. So it's gonna be a meh schedule for Aston Villa. So yeah, and then the obvious option with Aston Villa at the moment is John McGinn at 5.6. Yeah, he's also on my watch list if you watch my videos at that price point, along with Tobias, as I mentioned in the Arsenal script. Those two are somebody I'm looking at. But enough about me in this video. This is not about me. Holy crap. Okay, so that's another one. And then you have somebody like a Wesley, who I actually looked at the start of the season, but he hasn't actually impressed so far. A big no. But one guy that I'm actually interested in is Tyrone Mings, 4.5 million. So here's one stat about him. He has the 3rd most BAPS, the BPS system, not the actual bonus points. Like, you know that system that allows a bonus points, right? You call it the bonus point system. So basically, Mings has the 3rd most BAPS by any defender, behind only Trent Alexander-Arnold and Luka Dean with 88. So he can be a bit of a magnet. So once Villa get on the clean sheet run, expect Mings to get a few bonuses. So that's somebody I'm keeping an eye on. Is he on my watch list? Well, kind of. I mean, if I walk hard and Montoya gets out, I want my options. There's Soyuncu and there's Mings, something like that. So I'm keeping an eye on Mings. Not entirely watch this. And of course, there's Tom Heaton in goal, 4.5, same price. And yeah, he is an FPO darling as well. So keep an eye out for him. So that's enough with Aston Villa. Not too many options on Arsenal. I don't really like that many options from Aston Villa. And now moving on, so we have Bournemouth. So Bournemouth, they can be described as the biggest upsetters of the FPL season so far, because managers like me myself had Bournemouth assets to start the season. Some doubled, some tripled. They started the season with a 1-1 draw against Sheffield United and a 2-1 win, scrappy win against Aston Villa, where we were expecting them to dominate both games. Spoiler alert, they didn't. And then they went on and then put in a 3-1 defeat to Man City, in which they created a lot more chances than many actually perceived, to be fair. And then they went on to lose to Leicester City away from home, 3-1. So, good little run, but they messed it up big time. So how does their fixtures look in the next 4 up to the second international break? It's something like this: Everton at home, Southampton away, West Ham at home, Arsenal away. Again, another tough run. This is tougher than the first one because Everton, it's going to be a close game in my opinion. Southampton away, I think they could snatch it. West Ham at home, I think West Ham will easily win that one. Villa, Arsenal away, that's going to be a thumping. That's going to be a thumping for Bournemouth. So, their assets. I'm tempted to say none because there were lots of disappointment. Fraser disappointing, Wilson disappointing. Wilson didn't actually disappoint. King disappointing. And all that. But if I had to pick a couple of options just for the sake of it, one is Harry Wilson. 6 million on free kicks, and he'll probably start most games. Because he is one with Brooks out. He'll probably start most games, and he's on free kicks and he takes a lot of shots. So if you want a moment to attacker, Harry Wilson at 6 million could be the one. And then Callum Wilson. I wrote a thread earlier in like late June or early July. King versus Wilson thread where I actually favored Wilson. Wilson propaganda. I thought it actually failed, but it actually succeeded in a way because 4 games, 4 returns. I mean, doesn't matter how you return, as long as you return. 5-5-5-5. And yeah, going into the next round, I think you can get a few goals. He's off the market, I think he can get a few goals. And that is something I'm actually looking at. The two Wilsons. Fraser, he could come back into the action. You never know. Fraser, he had a breakout season last year. He could come back. Just keep an eye on them. But do I have any Bournemouth attackers, or I'm looking at anyone to come in? Not really. No. You don't let someone disappoint you twice. You want full evidence that they are back before you actually invest in them. So that's my take on Bournemouth. And then yeah, Brighton. So Brighton, they are, how do I put this? A surprise bunch, so to speak. Because let me read their one out. They went to Watford, a 3-0 away thumping at Watford, and then came to West Ham at home, a 1-1 draw, a 2-0 win against Southampton, a 2-0 home loss to Southampton, and then a 4-0 away loss to Man City, which is quite interesting because the highest XG, the guy with the highest expected goals, was actually a Brighton player. Which is pretty interesting, actually. And then the highest XA, highest expected assist, was also a Brighton player. So those two are pretty interesting stats going into the next half. So what do their fixtures look like? They have Burnley at home, Newcastle away, Chelsea away, Spurs at home. Yeah, that's a crap fixture list for defenders. I mean, Burnley at home, they could keep a clean sheet. Burnley, I think they could get a clean sheet. Newcastle away, if they scrap it out, they'll get one. Chelsea and Tottenham, nah, I'm not expecting a clean sheet. So Montoya might get the boot soon, or I could switch to the back three and play without Montoya. As for my team, the likes of Ryan, the likes of Dunk, if you're having them as your regular starter, just keep an eye on game week 7, because that's when they face Chelsea away from home. Just keep an eye on that and try to walk around it. At least that's how I take on it. But for the attack though, Burnley defense, Burnley is gonna be the one game where they might struggle to get goals. At least I want a clean sheet from my Pope. Newcastle away, there's goals in them. Chelsea away, with that Chelsea defense, you're bound to get goals. At least one. You have to get one. Spurs at home, it's gonna be a tough one. I don't think they're gonna score, but they could nick one. They could not nick one. It depends on what Spurs turn up. I should stop recording at midnight. It's not even midnight. It's 11:39. Going back, so they could nick a goal. It depends on which Spurs turn up. The Spurs that lead 2-0 to Arsenal, or the Spurs that flopped and went back to 2-2, or the Spurs that lost 1-0 Newcastle, clueless, toothless, everythingless. Yeah, those are the two things that I want to see before I jump the gun on them. So here are some of the assets that I like from Brighton. So the first asset that I actually am looking at is Maupay. So I've actually said it before, Maupay, he's on my watch list. Go back and watch my videos. I still said before, Maupay is on my watch list since like the very first week. I actually had a look at him. I like the look of him, so he's been on my watch list ever since. And he could come in as my third striker in a front three. I'd rather than replacing one of Ale or Team Pukki. I want a front three, and Maupay could be the one with this price range, because he's quality. And with Murray aging like there's no tomorrow. Moving on, Trossard is another one that I'm keeping an eye on. Yes, I don't own Trossard, but I'm keeping a close eye on him because he's been extremely good, quality player, and good little player, good XG against Man City. Oh yeah, the guy that I was talking about, XG. The highest XG player was a Brighton player. It was Leonardo Trossard. The highest XG was Martin Montoya. So Martin Montoya is another interesting player because he was playing as a wing back. He's getting forward, and so far no attacking returns at 4.5. I think I can give him a bit more time before I actually dump him. So he's gonna survive in my team way longer than most people actually think. So that's another thing. So that's 4 teams done. The next team is the FPL Darlings, Burnley. So Burnley, how did they start the season? They started the season with a 3-0 thumping of Southampton. Then they went on to Arsenal and they put up a good fight in a 2-1 loss. Went to Wolves, should have won that game, should have kept a clean sheet. Wolves get a penalty, 1-1, and deservingly, Wolves get a point. Those bloody Chihuahuas. And the Liverpool away, you're expected to lose. Liverpool home, you're expected to lose at 1, and you lose 3-0. So that's about it. A good start. 4 points of 3 games, a good start given that they have a tough set of fixtures. So moving on, this next 4 is the stuff of FPL dreams. Brighton away, Norwich at home, Villa away, Everton at home. That's a good one for both defense and attack. In defense, we have, not even defense, as a whole, Burnley have a plethora of budget options. That's why I call them the FPL darling, because they have lots of budget options. If you want, you can just go into them and they'll hardly disappoint you. And that's why that's why most people like Burnley. So going back to the option, plethora of options, good fixtures, they're FPL gold. And of course, there's obvious options such as Nick Pope 4.5, Ashley Barnes 6.7. But the guy that I'm actually gonna focus on in this video is Matthew Lowton at 4.5, the only 4.5 defender, playing defender left in the entire Burnley lineup. Me and Tarkovsky are both 5. Peters is 4.6. Taylor's not playing, so he's dropping 4.4, but he's not playing. Lowton's the only guy that is playing and is on 4.5, so he is the underrated pick that I am actually looking at. If I want a double Burnley defense for the next 3 games, I can go and have him. McNeil at 6.0 is another interesting pick. I'm a big fan of McNeil. If you follow me on Twitter last season, I've said how I am a big fan of McNeil and stuff. Yeah, I still have that affection. I was pushing his starting price somewhere around 5.0, 5.5, so that I can jump on him early during the season and keep him on the bench. But yeah, he's playing 6.0, so I couldn't. But he is a really good attacking player. Got a couple of assists already, I think. Goals are around the corner. More assists coming up with this juicy run. Dwight McNeil could be that differential that you're looking for. And then Chris Wood at 6.3. He hasn't really been that good so far. Barnes taking all the goals and stuff. But yeah, Chris Wood 6.3. The own goal against Liverpool, it was not his fault. But yeah, keep an eye on him. I'm not sure I will go to Chris Wood if I want a striker. I would rather go to Ashley Barnes, the form player. But just keep an eye on them. That's what I'm saying about. They have lots of good options. And they also have Johan Berg Goodmanson as well at 6 million. Once a good FPL pick. Keep an eye on him as well. And then that's about it. 5 teams covered up in my team overview video number 1. Now, if you want to see more videos, click subscribe, hit the little bell so that you don't miss the next 3 videos, because the next video I'm going to cover another 5, then another 5, and then another 5. So it's going to be a streak of videos coming up during the international break. School's closed from next week onwards, so I have a bit of time to grind out these videos. So do subscribe, do like the video as well, so that you can see similar videos to this one. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed the international break and look forward to my new content. Until then, peace.